Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. This is Rebecca with Red True Crime. And this is our St. Patty's Day edition of True Crime. Now, this time last year, I did that on, whoops, sorry. I did my video on the Irish mob. This time, I thought we'd do a little bit more supernatural feel or crimes based on the supernatural. So this one is called the Ireland Fairy Killings, Bridget Cleary and the Deadly Changelings. So Ireland's hills hide secrets. Nobody doubts that. Old stories of the Aosi, I'm probably saying it wrong, or Aoshai, the fairies who steal the healthy and leave twisted copies behind, or known as changelings. So here is a photo right here. So that's what they think. In the 19th century, belief wasn't just legend, it was deadly. And families desperate for cures turned to fire, water, iron, and that was to force the fairy out. Sometimes the cure killed. Tonight, three cases that chilled a nation. We have Bridget Cleary, burned alive in 1895 because her husband swore she was a changeling. Michael Leahy, a 4-year-old drowned in 1826 to drive out a ferry. And Patsy Doyle, hacked to death with a hatchet in 1888, called a devil fairy by his own mother. These aren't ghost stories. They're murders masked as folklore. I'm Rebecca, and on Red True Crime, subscribe, hit the bell, and this one's dark. So let's go back to the fireside where belief became blood. Okay. So we are going to start with Bridget Cleary. That is she right there with her husband, Michael. So we're going to rewind back to the 19th century, rural Ireland. And medicine was scarce. Infant mortality was super high, and sudden illness, unexplained weakness, these are things they were dealing with. And what they did most commonly is they blamed the fairies. So changelings weren't cute. They were sickly, crying things, old souls in child's bodies, or worse. And to get the real child back, torture the fake one. So fire was one way to do it. You hold over flames, burn with pokers, and it'll fly up the chimney. Water, drown repeatedly to force revelation. Iron, hot shovels and blades, kind of poke at it. And these cures appear in folklore collections, newspapers, and trials. Now, most victims were children or the disabled, epileptic, or slow, as they call. But adults was super rare until Bridget Cleary. So in March 1895, Ballyvale, South Tipperary, Bridget Boland Cleary, 26, was a beautiful, independent dressmaker, egg seller, sewing machine owner, and she married Cooper, Michael Cleary, and they've been married since 1887. Now, there was tensions in the marriage because there was a lot of he was jealous and she was independent, so therefore she was cheating, all kinds of crazy stuff like that. And rumors about all of this. But in early March, Bridget falls ill. It's either the flu, bronchitis, but it's got her bedridden. Doctor comes, no help, priest, nothing. Then the fairy doctor, Uncle Jack Dunn, he declares not Bridget, a changeling. Fairies took her to Kellinagh Fort, and this is the imposter. So the family gathers. Father Patrick Boland, cousins, and let's see here. Her cousins Joanna and Katie Burke, and then some aunts. They force herbs. They question her. What's my name? We're married. And she answers everything correctly because it's her. But her husband says, you're not her. So between March 13th through the 15th, escalation. They hold her over fire. They burn her with hot pokers. She screams, I'm Bridget, your wife. But on the night of the 15th, of March. The cottage is packed. Michael is furious, and he decides to pour paraffin on her chemise and strikes a match. Flames roar. Bridget is burned alive. Michael holds people back. It's not her. Let the changeling burn. They drag the body outside and put it in a shallow grave. Michael waits 3 nights at the ferry fort for Bridget to return on a white horse with the ferry troop. Yeah. On March 22nd, police find charred remains. 9 people are arrested, including Michael, Jack Dunn, Patrick Boland, and the Burks. Nationwide shock. Okay. We've got headlines: witch burning in Ireland, barbarous, superstition, craziness. Jury trial. Clamel. Witnesses describe screams. Fire. Johanna Berg turns state's evidence. Michael states, I believe she was taken. I was trying to save her. The verdict? Manslaughter, but not murder. Delusion accepted. Michael received 15 years in penal servitude. The others? Months to years. Michael served his time and immigrated to Canada, basically vanishes off the face of the earth. But Bridget becomes a symbol. Women punished for stepping out, superstition versus modernity. So we're going to go back a little bit further. 1826, County Kerry, River Flesk. 4-year-old Michael Leahy is sickly, couldn't speak or stand, and the family believes the fairies have struck. He's a changeling. Anne Roche, an elderly woman, perhaps what we call a wise woman, orders men to cure him. They submerge him in water. Yeah. They submerge him in water 3 times. Like repeated baptisms gone completely wrong. Michael drowns, lungs fill, and there is no escape. Anne Roche is indicted for murder. There's a trial. Traley Assizes, defense, gross superstition. She believed she was saving him driving the ferry out. The verdict? Not guilty. Jury sees delusion, but not malice. Case echoes in newspapers, folklore, shows how deeply belief ran. Even courts sometimes sympathized. Now, Michael Leahy is one of many children lost to cures. His story haunts innocent, voiceless, drowned for being different. And now we get to another sad case. Patsy Doyle. 1888, near Killarney, Kerry. Again, Patsy Doyle, about 13, is described as an epileptic idiot. Imbecile, has severe disabilities. His mother, Joanna Doyle, 45, is wild, fierce peasant. Barely English speaking. So not used to being around people. She insists he is not my son. A devil, a bad fairy. And assisted by husband and 3 older children, she murders Patsy with a hatchet. Brutal chops. Joanna is committed to Killarney Asylum afterward, restrained in canvas camisole. She rants, Patsy was changed, evil thing. But the trial, family involvement shocks, but folklore context softens judgment, seen as tragic delusion in a harsh world. Patsy Doyle, though, is another child erased because illness had no other explanation. These Kerry cases show pattern. Children targeted, families complicit, belief as excuse for horror. 3 cases, 1 thread. Changelings as scapegoats for illness, disability, and fear. Bridget Cleary was an adult outlier, most publicized and shocked the world. Michael Leahy and Patsy Doyle, child victims, quieter tragedies, but no less brutal. Angela Burke's book, The Burning of Bridget Cleary, documents Cleary, only adult burning recorded. Children far more common. Red hot shovels, drownings, exposure. Many were prosecuted. But the legacy. Fairy belief faded after Cleary. Press mocked backward Ireland. Helped push modernity. Women's rights and discussions. But echoes remain. How superstition masks abuse. How vulnerable suffer when society lacks understanding. In Ireland's hills, fairies weren't the monsters. People were, driven by fear, ignorance, and desperation. Bridget screamed she was real. Michael Leahy couldn't speak. And Patsy Doyle endured the unthinkable. They died because belief outweighed evidence. So, what chills you the most? The fire, the water, or the hatchet? Or how close these shadows still feel? Comment below. And I'm not sure what the next case will be. But thanks for watching Red True Crime. Like, share, subscribe, and stay vigilant. The past always whispers the warnings.